Namaste, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to Namaste Today in the Zodiac Weather. My name is Christopher Witecki. I am the sensei to Sirius Joy, here to help you stand in your heart and walk in the light. Love casting live in 5 dimensions in the beautiful Temple of Gaia. It's Friday. It's finally Friday, a second Friday in the United States, November 28th, 2014. And today, my friend, Step 6 rules the day. Step 6 is the step where we give and receive, the coming and going of energy, which is really what I think everyone is here to do. That's the most fun part of it. This is relationships, step 6. This is Libra, if you know Libra. This is Venus, if you know Venus, right? 6 is a wonderful energy. It's going to feel like Venus today. In fact, today is going to feel like Christmas in a way, because when you add the Sagittarius optimism to the Libra step 6, you really get a very Christmassy, energetic feeling. So it's no surprise that people are out in the world today, in the United States anyways, out shopping for Christmas. And it's an interesting moment. I know the United States needs capitalism in order to do this, but at least we are giving and receiving, and that's good. Right? That is good. So today I have a whole bunch of great things to talk to you about and teach you. And if you're just joining us or finding us in Namaste Today, welcome. This month with the Sun in Sagittarius, I'm going to go to extra effort to teach the 11 steps to Sirius Joy and the basic fundamentals of incarnation. Right? Seriously, you're like, whoa, that's a lot. Well, seriously, I think if you can understand how things manifest in front of you, you can make better choices in each moment, and you can manifest your heart's desire. And I'm very curious to see people start manifesting their heart's desire. I've been waiting my whole life to see the world starting to do magic. And I believe with the Sun in Sagittarius and Saturn moving into Sagittarius, we are about to move into a very magical time. But before we talk magic, let's first tame our brain and prepare for the day with the phrase of the day. I accept and receive joy for my emotional body, and so it is. I accept and receive joy from my emotional body. Now, we want to accept and receive. In fact, accept and receive is ultimately a mantra that allows us to participate in giving and receiving. A lot of people actually have a hard time accepting and receiving in the equation of giving and receiving. It's actually the receiving I find most people having trouble with. So our mind is often the smartass that's in the way of us receiving joy. Our mind starts coming up with reasons to dismiss it, to dismiss the compliment, like, you look fabulous. No, I don't. I need to lose 10 pounds, right? Your mind is not accepting receiving. So the phrase of the day is designed to help your mind be in the right state of mind, and we want to accept and receive what? Joy. Let's not be even unclear about it. I want to accept and receive joy. That's it, joy, which comes in so many forms and gives God a lot of room to create, right? As long as I am in joy, I think it's going to be okay. So I accept and receive joy for my emotional body. That second part is super important because we're directing where we want the joy to go, and that's what the mind's job to do, is direct and connect. And we're directing it to the emotional body. Our emotional body is what we want to feel joy. That's where we want to feel it. So say it out loud, say it proud. I accept and receive joy from my emotional body, and so it is. I thought so. The serious step of the day is step 6, and that means that it's time to give and receive. It's time to kind of open up for business. In today's Planet Soup and also in the Sensei Sunrise, I'm going to get really specific on the architecture of incarnation and what step 6 does for you. The moon begins early in the day in Aquarius, wrapping up Aquarius, and there's some tests of detachment depending on where you live. But by mid-afternoon, the moon moves into Pisces, and emotions will seek peace and forgiveness. So if you've been very judgmental on yourself, if you've been really hard on yourself, you really want to have and express some self-compassion and some self-mercy today so that you can just open up for giving and receiving. By tonight's sky, I predict peaceful and spiritual. It'll be a very quiet, beautiful evening. It'll probably be maybe even a starlit evening, at least weather-wise. I personally believe that the conglomerate emotion of a culture draws in the weather. So if the whole world is peaceful, the sky is usually pretty clear. And I've been noticing this for a long time, practicing astrology for 8 years, doing the horoscopes. I was noticing the planets and then the weather on the planet. So I predict a quiet evening all around for people, and that's a good thing. Let's look at the ruling chakras.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Now, for starters, as you know, I believe is part of the third eye. We cast our beliefs forward, and it starts to create the web in which we decorate reality with. So we are working in Sagittarius, I believe, and we're in step 6 of our beliefs. The moon moves into Pisces today, so that means that it's going to be a crown chakra glow. Emotions are literally pulling in on the high level, and any spiritual issues you have on the high level may manifest a little bit in front of your eyes. And then step 6, I want to point out, is an element of the throat chakra. So when we give and receive, we actually cast out with our throat or in blue light. So we use blue light to cast out to give and receive. It's kind of like perhaps the beacon on the invisible scale. And the important thing to know about that is that you want to speak up. You know, word is very important when you want to give and when you want to receive. And to use the power of word, it's part of the 3 primary states that create reality. You have to speak up and say it. All right, so today things are lighting up on all those levels. So let's look at Planet Soup. What is God cooking up today and in this beautiful weekend? Well, the sun is at 6 degrees Sagittarius, which is the Libra vibration. That was my subconscious there, typing Libra. 6 degrees Sagittarius, everyone. But it's at step 6, which is Libra, giving and receiving of conscious energy, and the restoring of balance. Now, because we're in chapter 1 of Sun in Sagittarius, we are looking to restore balance inside of us, and because it's Sagittarius, we're looking to restore belief in our life. So in each of the 12 zodiac signs, you are trying to restore belief in yourself, patch it up, or make it greater, but usually it's restoration. I mean, I think the normal wear and tear of human beings on Earth is to break down your beliefs over time and have to restore them. So we're looking to find that restoration and to feel whole today. And I'm going to give you here in the Sensei Sunrise some ways to do that. Now, this is interesting. Mercury is offline today, so our mind is not super sharp. We're going to be cloudy. That's because we're shifting our focus now on what we're thinking about. We're just coming off of a test of emotional boundaries, and Mercury moving out of Scorpio, and now Mercury is moving into Sagittarius, and that means that our thoughts will be catching up with our hearts. All right, and I'll be letting you know when that happens. But Saturn is testing us on our emotional boundaries. We are moving forward with what we need to do and execute. Mercury is between worlds, and as you can see, we are beginning the exploration of our early boundary consciousness, which is Sagittarius. Now, the reason why things are going to change so quickly is this multi-day grand trine in fire. Right now, headed up by Venus. So we are creating and giving and receiving. Now remember, Venus is the conscious of giving and receiving. So it's kind of like getting hit twice. The sun is tied into giving and receiving today. Venus itself is a giving and receiver in Sag. So what you end up having is like you're cleaning up the bottom of your life and you're pushing at the top at the same time is what happens. And this is how the spectrum works. But the pushing at the top for new belief and new faith and new understanding, that pushing at the top is trining in to 2 other parts of yourself. On the one hand, Jupiter in Leo, which is let's have more fun now, yesterday. And then Uranus in Aries, which is trying to get stronger, trying to change what we act on and what we do, what we fight about, what we don't fight about. So as we open up the possibilities with our belief structure in Venus, these other 2 sides of us open up. Our heart explodes with Jupiter, and Uranus says we become stronger, or we redefine our I am statement, which is basically our ego. So Mars actually is at step 25 Capricorn, and that means that we are taking step 25 as a spiritual act. So that means that we're really, the actions we take today are for our highest good, or ought to be for our highest good, or you'll find that they do serve our highest good, and they may also make subtle changes in the way we control things. But Saturn, the granddaddy of control, is at step 27 Scorpio. So this means that for 2 years you worked on emotional boundaries in your life, where your limits were. You want to execute those boundaries, and you do not want to be forgiving right now. Not forgiving in the sense of, that's the wrong word actually, always be forgiving. But I mean, you want to be very allegiant to your boundaries right now, because we're setting very deep seeds that will stick with us for a long time. And Jupiter is going to be racing ahead in Leo through this step 22, adding that quantum passion. 2 plus 2 is 4. That means we're basically changing where our heart feels they belong. That's at the end of the day what's happening. Our heart once thought it belonged over here, and our heart now thinks it belongs over there. And we will make that shift as soon as our belief structure, Sagittarius, is in place, which is within the next 28 days. So it's a pretty powerful time. We're literally shifting some major events and what happens. Then there is Black Lilith, who is going to expose fears, and we may have to face our fears, especially if we haven't been able to replace our fear with love. So as Black Lilith moves into step 1, Virgo, do expect to face fears, and they will seem very real when you do. I remember this the last time. It was intense, unfortunately. But now I know better, so I'm just going to fill it with love and not freak. And that brings us to the Sensei Sunrise. So for today's Sensei Sunrise, I'm going to give you a great, fantastic lesson building on the premise of what we're building on so far in Sagittarius. And I'm trying to lay down a foundation for you to understand the architecture of incarnation. And it's very fascinating to me, probably is to you, how everything plugs into everything. That is the nature of Sagittarius, incidentally. That's the nature of the human collective consciousness. It all plugs into itself like Legos and overlaps because it builds upon itself. And I'm trying to give you the structure. So this time around, when Saturn is in Sagittarius, you can create your own Me-Ligion. That's what I'm trying to give you the tools to do. I'm trying to say, hey, this is how I have seen the universe works. It's totally designed for everyone to create anything they want, but these are the paintbrushes and these are the paints. Go have fun. That's my intention if you want to know. So that said, we're at step 6. This is where it always gets fun in step 6 because this is where we start to give and receive. And like I said in the open, we are today usually out shopping, Christmas shopping, thinking about Christmas if we're not shopping, thinking about the holidays, thinking about the warmth that we often bring in with Sagittarius, bringing in that optimism. And this is the first day you really feel it when we hit step 6. And step 6 can be on Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. It varies based on the year. So it's kind of interesting how that happens. Now, that said, we have already talked about so far, but I do want to review really quick, especially for those who are just joining us. Consciousness builds in steps. Each day of the year, God gives us 1 day of sunlight. 1 day of sunlight is 1 day of love. Then we go to sleep and we wake up. And when we wake up, we incorporate in our consciousness yesterday's love and assume it as our fundament of today. In fact, if you don't sleep for several days, you won't actually assume your consciousness, and this is why it gets dangerous to not fall asleep, because it's when we fall asleep that we actually assimilate our awareness and squash it down and stand on the next step. So you can really lose touch with reality if you don't sleep because you're not actually officiating the steps. It's an interesting thing. I've done it. So to review, whenever we manifest anything, and this month we're manifesting a new Me-Ligion, and that is the way a person's personal philosophy around the heart. That's what a Me-Ligion is, your philosophy around a heart. And I believe people should pick their religions based on their Me-Ligions. That's just my own opinion. But no matter what, everything in life, in consciousness, is built in these steps. And their first 11 steps will always lead to your personal joy. So I teach the 11 steps to Sirius joy. And to review, step 0 is I protect. So I protect is holding the space for things to happen. Then we add love. Then we feel it. And once we do that, we start to believe it. These are the first few steps of this transit. Now on Thanksgiving yesterday, we hit step 5. I think I skipped step 4 in the 2 slides. I just realized. Step 4 is where we belong, where we feel like we belong after we believe it. So once we believe in something, then we go, okay, where do I belong? And we're pulled to where we belong by law of attraction, which is based on our belief, and our belief is based on our feelings and our love and our protection. Okay? So then that brings us to step 5, which is Thanksgiving, and that is I think. This is where we put it all together. And interesting, yesterday, what do? We connect all our friends, family, lover, friends, We connect everyone, we exchange information. It was a step 5 day, no question. That leads us now to step 6. The next thing that happens when you're growing human consciousness is human consciousness opens up for business in step 6. This is the point where from step 0 to step 5, to idea, to thought, to word, right, comes out in word. Step 6 is now let's start exchanging. Now I'm going to show you, let's see here, this is the next slide, how step 6 sort of works in my mind. Remember, step 6, first of all, is Libra. So I think that this is an awesome illustration for it, because at step 6, this is when we're weighing back and forth, basically two different sides of a coin. Now, because we're in step 6 and not step 15, we are really giving and receiving with ourselves. Anything in the first 10 degrees of a transit is about the relationship to self, especially when it comes to Libra. So really we're talking about two sides of ourself here. And today's the day where we're able to bring two beliefs. You can see one belief is on the left side and one belief's on the right side. And this can be literally where we're weighing back and forth. Which do we believe, right? Well, ultimately, you want to find the common belief between the two of them. We've always known that, right? And that's what you do on a step 6 day. What happens is, you really, step 5 ends up where you start finding common belief. That's the Gemini energy of step 5. So yesterday we were trying to find really the common belief. And here in my illustration, something I love is connecting to something I love, right? And that's usually what it is. Two things that you love. Peanut butter and chocolate, right? New candy bar, right? So you bring two things together you love. Now in this case, today, be conscious that joy comes by bringing two things together that you love. That is ultimately what we're wanting to do. And to some degree, that might be you going out looking for the perfect Christmas present for your family, or the perfect Hanukkah present or Kwanzaa present. But you can be out looking for all these perfect presents, and that could be you trying to match love with love. But we're ultimately trying to bring this flow together. We could also bring protection field. I went over this already in the earlier things. Once we find and align, then we can give and receive. Then we have an open channel. That's how the giving and receiving happens. A common bond, right? We know this. But in the astronumerology, you can kind of see how it plays out and in the consciousness of life. Remember, triangles are beliefs. So let's go now to the next slide. There are many ways we can give and receive. Once we open up the channel of 6, or once we are in a channel of 6 in ourselves, once we have the first steps, 6 steps, or really first 7 steps of awareness, we're aware of those steps, and they're all in alignment inside of us, right? This is really what I'm teaching, is how to, simple steps to enlightenment. Then there are many ways we can give and receive. And I'm going to go through these really quick. Line A is, I'm in a state of love, 1, and I connect to someone intellectually. Bing, 6. So our hearts can connect to people's intellect. This is people chatting. You can start in your heart and add word. You can start in your mind, 5, and add love, right? Sometimes there's a person who's love, sometimes a person who's word. This is how people connect intellectually. This is intellectual love here. Now, some people think line A is being in love, because their mind is connecting so well and they love it, all right? But actually, it's just one way of giving and receiving. There are many dimensions that you're going to see. Now, line B is another dimension. And I think line B is actually, I think it's sexual, to be honest. Line B is very sexual in the sense that you take your feelings and then you go where your feelings feel like they belong. So it's like, oh, I belong kissing you. My lips belong here. Exchange of emotion. So feeling where they belong is usually a sexual thing. And 4 is firecracker. It can get very interesting. Line C, I don't really have a full example for line C, except that you have, this is, line C is like the almost the Hollywood story. It's almost the myth that you have some person who's in step 0, shut off and not loving at all, and one person in step 6, which is all the love, and they save them. But the problem is that usually the 0 does not pull up after that, and the 6 gets tired of filling up the 0. So that's a fun line, but it doesn't last a lifetime. And then there is D, which is what you and I are doing right now. I'm in my belief, 3. You're in a belief looking to expand it, 3. And we're giving and receiving right now. Isn't that great? All right, so that brings me now to the final slide, which is the point here. And I know I'm running a little long in today's show, but I want to lay this out for you, so watch it over the weekend. Now this is step 0 through 29. So in any astrology sign, which is a state of awareness, there are 12 astrology signs, there are 12 states of awareness, there are 12 states humans are aware of being alive, 12 states. Right now we're exploring Sagittarius, our belief structure state, one of the 12 states. Within each of the 12 states, it divides into 29 steps. All right, really 30 if you choose to count the hidden 0 step. So my point to this is this. Most people try to start giving and receiving right now at step 6. Step 6 of every sign. People are like, oh, I want to make love, I want to connect to you, I want to fill the void with something outside myself. But really, giving and receiving is prime consciously when you reach step 15. Once you put 15 days of love into the new belief structure, right? 15 days of love. After 15 days, after halfway over the transit, we are now ready to really give and receive on a quantum level, right? But realize you'll feel the compulsion to give and receive as soon as step 6. Notice step 9 is I am. So we technically, our ego is incomplete until step 9. We don't feel like we are the new philosophy or the new Me-Ligion until step 9. We're building to it. So what that means is today is really about you with you. It's really about finding why you are bringing yourself to a 6, making yourself feel whole. And maybe there's something you need to do for you. Maybe your emotions need some quantum change. Maybe your heart needs to connect intellectually. Maybe your heart and your mind needs to connect. So that slide of numbers is really two sides of yourself that may need to come together today. But I will say this, it's okay to go all the way up to step 29 today if you find a great sale. Consciousness is all about creation, and I give this because so you can understand the scales in which that we're born to, we live in, and you can modify at your will. All right, let's take a quick break, and when I come back, I have a little cherry to go on top and the Zodiac weather after this. Introducing Secrets of Birthdays. Bow chicka bow wow. Are you ready to find love? Bow chicka bow wow. Your secrets are coming out. Bow chicka bow wow. All those sexy secrets are available at secretsofbirthdays.com. Bow chicka bow wow, baby. And here we are back at the Soulmart Trading Post. The Secrets of Birthdays Love and Lust reports are just $19.95 and edited by yours truly. I look up your date of birth and I edit together a quick 22-minute video that will teach you about yourself. For more details or another video about it, go to secretsofbirthdays.com. Please come down and join our email list, or if I've recently sent you a confirmation, please be sure to click on it. That's because of the crazy politics around trying to keep an email list. But I am adding up the email list. I am sending out an email for the Megascope Monthly Decembers. They look fantastic. They're week by week, and I'm sending out coupon codes, etc. So join our email list. Be sure to confirm once you do. Now, if you buy a 1-hour reading with me, you'll get a free 30-minute follow-up anytime through June 2015. This is an excellent present for yourself. And if you want to give presents to someone else, I now have gift certificates for the holidays at soulmart.me. If you buy a 1-hour, you'll only pay $99. That's a $40 saving. By the way, parents love me, and I promise to totally talk you up if you get me a reading with them. So let's move on now to today's Gone. Because we are moving a little late today, I'll be quick about it. This is what I recommend you do here between now and Monday. It's time to come up with a new Me-Ligion. What is your Me-Ligion? Now, to me, Me-Ligion is a philosophy you live by. And this philosophy you live by leads to all of your beliefs and all of your adventure. And if you ever are confused, you just go back to your simple Me-Ligion. I recommend 3 simple words for your Me-Ligion. For me, it's live, love, be. I live in the moment, I love myself and others, and I be the brightest I can be. Those are the 3 things I try to live by in the moment. It turns into all sorts of amazing stuff, but it's my 3 simple words. So try to contemplate what your 3 simple words are, and you want to have your answer by step 9. I'll remind you. All right? But before you go off developing your Me-Ligion, let's take a look at the modes of each of your brothers and sisters and where they're restoring their Me-Ligion and where their Me-Ligion stems from. Same sort of thing. Starting with the Scorpios. Sunny and childlike for the Scorpios through the weekend. That's the moon in Pisces, feeling so good. But you're restoring your self-esteem. So your Me-Ligion needs to boost self-confidence. Step 1, the Leos, sunny and private, restoring self-love with this new chapter. So your Me-Ligion is all about how fabulous you are, right? Makes total sense, doesn't it? Step 2 is the Cancers, cloudy and pensive. Your Me-Ligion's about living in the moment. All right, so that's Cancers. They're with you. They're with you all the time, right? Of course, you're Me-Ligion, but be there with you in the moment. That needs to be the Me-Ligion. Step 3, the Sagittarius is happy birthday, Sag. You are the walking religion of the planet, the walking collective consciousness. You basically are carbon crystallized consciousness, but you're sunny, nesting, and resting through the weekend. So when you restore your faith in self or your Me-Ligion, you restore all your confidence and your best personality comes out. Step 4 is the Aquarius, sunny and productive today and through the weekend. You are restoring friendships and reputation. So your Me-Ligion has to do with who or where you belong in the world. Of course it does. Step 5, the Geminis, sunny and professional, restoring your Me-Rig. Now this is crazy. You're a Gemini, so your Me-Ligion is based on your Me-Rig. Of course your philosophy is based on your relationship to yourself. You're a twin. Duh. Step 6, the Librans, sunny and pensive today. And sensitive too. Sensitive and pensive. That's because you're restoring your sanity. So your Me-Ligion is all about your state of mind, right? Your Me-Ligion affects your state of mind. And so when a Libra has a good Me-Ligion, a Libra can be fair and honorable. Step 7, the Pisces, sunny and cool with the moon in their sign this weekend. You're restoring career ambition with your Me-Ligion. So what you live by is what you turn into a career. You're a God service provider. That makes sense, doesn't it? Step 8, the Capricorn, sunny and pensive. You are restoring your inner faith in yourself. So the way you stand on that mountain is your Me-Ligion is a religion. It is what you have to believe in yourself 100% to stand on that mountain. So it's very important. You will not have faith if you don't know what your philosophy you live by is. Oops. Step 9, the Aries, sunny and spiritual with the moon in Pisces. Basically, because you're a purebred human as an Aries, you are restoring your belief in your absolute self. So your Me-Ligion, the philosophy you live by, leads to faith in yourself or not. Step 10 is the Taurus, sunny and social with the moon in Pisces. Your Me-Ligion, your philosophy of life, leads to trusting yourself. And I have found that when I don't live by my philosophy of life, I subconsciously stop trusting myself and get very anxious. Step 11 is the Virgos, sunny and sentimental with the moon in Pisces. You're restoring your emotional body right now. So your philosophy of life leads to your emotional contentment. So if you're not in integrity with your philosophy, you don't feel good. Makes sense, doesn't it? Pretty crazy. All right, so let's look at the Lightwalker Parade. Let's see the videos I have following this one to help you in your day. For one, Venus Prime Health with Damon Perry. We're talking about the doomsday snacks, the ones that are yummy but will kill you. Number 6 are Subway sandwiches. Not just the chain, the whole concept. Circle of Wisdom, has moved to Sundays. I'll have more details on that. It follows not this Sunday, but the following. And, we have a better graphic than that. There it is. Cops shooting our kids was the Modern Mommies topic. I don't know why my graphic's not coming up, but we're not going to waste on. And the Astro 101 final episode of the 300 series, Putting It Together, is available for you to watch. And if you'd like to catch up on Whoopsie. There we go. The Astro 101 series actually has 36 episodes, or little webisodes, 7 minutes each, that will teach you everything about reading your chart. This is the last of the 3rd season, and I'm going to release a 4th season here in early 2015. So if you want to catch up and learn, they're all online available for you there. I appreciate you watching. The kindest thing you can do is just share us with your friends. So I thank you ahead of time for sharing us on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want. And this leads us now to our final Soul Nirvana song of the day. And if you don't know, I am bringing us back to the last time the sun was in Sagittarius, the last time Saturn, was in Sagittarius, and we were reinventing our Me-Ligion. And this song is kind of a haunting one. You're going to see. Tears for Fears, Shout. Remember Shout? Let it all out. You know, I can't say I like this song, but it puts me into the total head trip my life was changing at that time. I remember it. I remember things were feeling different. Things were opening up. And so play this song if you want to do a little clockwork vibrationally back in time. Tears for Fears had just done Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That was the song that they had before this one, and then Shout came out. So they kind of dominated our conscious for a while. All right, my friends, have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back on Monday with more Namaste. Be sure to join my email list so I can email you all sorts of cool things. And I love you.
This is just so ironic.
So